Let's make hearty garden soup. I have my recipe over here, so if I reference there, that's where I'm going. This one's super easy. You can throw it in the crock pot before you leave for work and it'll be ready by the time you get home. So you're gonna need a pound of ground turkey or ground beef, whatever you want to put in there. I like to thaw mine out and then just slice it open and dump it in the crock pot. Obviously don't leave this there. So you can do 2 pounds if you're feeding more people, want leftovers. 1 pound works well for my family of just my husband, me, and my 5-year-old. So you're gonna want 4 cans of mixed vegetables. I personally prefer the combination that Aldi puts in their cans, but you can get them wherever you go grocery shopping. So we're just gonna need to open all of those and dump them into the crock pot. This one is super simple, really just open and dump, turn it on and leave it. Also, if you have one of these can openers from Pampered Chef, there's little teeth on the side and a button to grab the lids after you unscrew them, which is very helpful. And the way this one works, it doesn't leave you with ragged edges on the can. So I don't sell Pampered Chef, but if you know somebody, go ask them for their can opener because I love this thing. I've had mine for 3 years, 4, I don't know. They may have updated it even past this at this point, but I really, really like this one. Okay, so you could, depending on the size of your crock pot, you might want to drain off the liquid from the last can or 2 of the thing. So I just kind of hold the lid in place and I'm just going to dump it. I don't know why my kid is yelling in the background. He's playing trains. He's perfectly fine. And then you're going to want a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I get all of my canned stuff at Aldi, if that helps anyone with reference. This one takes the longest to open because it's so wide. There we go. There. You want to dump this carefully or you'll splatter stuff everywhere, which is obviously never our goal. So I'm going to take a spatula and just scrape out what's in here because there's a lot on a can this size that will stick to the sides. And I like to get every last little bit I paid for. And scrape out the bottom because I mean you see how much I'm getting out of there. So that's all your canned stuff. And then you're going to want minced garlic, parsley, paprika, thyme, oregano, salt, and pepper. Don't worry, I will write this out. Let's see, it calls for 3 cloves of garlic. So I don't bother with buying cloves of garlic, crushing them and putting them in. I just get minced garlic, and for every clove that it calls for, I do a teaspoon. This is not my teaspoon. So it calls for 1 clove of garlic, so I'm gonna go with 1 teaspoon and just sprinkle that on top. Put it over there. And then half a tablespoon of parsley. So I have a half a tablespoon measuring spoon, but right now it's in the dishwasher. So half of a tablespoon is a teaspoon and a half. So I'm just gonna use my teaspoon and half a teaspoon to measure that out. And this is parsley. Okay, so that was that. And then paprika, and this is a teaspoon. And I'm just dumping those in, nothing fancy, just dump them on the top. You'll stir it all up later. A 1/4 teaspoon. I need to grab that. Okay, so we want a 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. I have Disney salt and pepper shakers, compliments of Christmas years ago, and half a teaspoon of, I prefer sea salt, it's healthier. I actually use Redmond's real salt, which looks like this, and I can put a link to that in the video caption as well. Most of this stuff I just buy generic from Aldi or Walmart, but my salt, I really prioritize the health part of my salt, so I get that one special. And then you would do, if you're not weird like me, you would do a teaspoon of oregano and a teaspoon of dried thyme. I like to use essential oils in my food, so I'm gonna do a drop of each of those. And these are safe to ingest. I do it all the time. It's actually really good for your body. This one I think is getting low. I'm gonna pop the top off it. There we go. One drop. And I love these in soups and sauces because it gives it just that extra vibrant flavor. I'm gonna rub that on my back actually because those are good for you topically and to eat. Okay, so that's all of it. I'm gonna take my ladle and just kind of mix. Ooh, I made a mess. All right, that's nothing new. I make messes all the time in the kitchen. But guess what? The food still tastes just as good even if you make a mess. So clean that up so that that doesn't dry on the side of my crock pot while I'm cooking it. Okay, so be careful how hard you stir. Good lesson, right? So I'm gonna stir this in. I'm gonna try not to stir the meat too much because I want that to like stay toward the bottom and cook. I mean, it will cook one way or the other. That's just my personal preference. So you're going to put the ladle down on a spoon rest or somewhere. Your crock pot should be full. I have either a 5 or 6 quart size crock pot. I don't remember. If you have a 7 or larger, this would easily fit in there. So I'm gonna put my lid on because that's important. And I'm going to plug it in and I'm gonna knock you over. Okay, I'm gonna plug it in. There we go. The cord's in the way. All right, I'm gonna hold that out of the way. And then I'm going to flip it. Mine just has a little flip setting. I'm gonna put this on low because it has plenty of time to cook. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning right now. And if you need to put this in earlier than that, you can still turn it on low. If you have a fancier crock pot that has timers and settings for like heat levels, you could do like low for 6 to 8 hours and then have it kick to keep warm. That would probably be the best, so like the meat doesn't overcook. But if you have a crock pot like mine and you just need to leave it all day, I would put it on low and just not worry about it. It will be fine. So, Hearty Garden Soup. When this is done and you come back to it, you just need to break up your meat in there so you don't have one big large clump of meat. And I like to use this little tool. It's a like potato meat masher, and I'll just go in there and just push it in there and chop it all up and use it to kind of stir it up. And then you can serve the soup straight from there. You can do that just as easily with like spoon or some forks, whatever you have that works. But that's Hearty Garden Soup.